Having a website is a great thing. Think of it as your internet business card. But what's the point in having a website if nobody ever finds it? That's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to look at search engine optimization, or SEO, and how we can tap into SEO in simple ways so that your website can be found by more people when they are doing the important internet searches. So welcome to the broadcast, everyone. My name is Sara Campbell, and I'm so glad that you are here. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm going to be breaking down SEO because I know this topic can feel like a little squicky. It's a little confusing. We see this term like thrown around in blogs and forums, and like, what the heck does it mean, and how the heck do you use it? So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down what exactly is SEO, and I'm going to give you simple tips that you can use on your website in order to increase your search engine optimization so that you can show up in the Google things. So before we get started, I'm going to do a little fancy thing. Let's get going. Welcome, everybody. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business strategist, mindset coach, and marketing coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like yourself. And every Wednesday, we go here live at 12 noon Eastern, where we talk about those topics, where we talk about the strategies that we need in order for our businesses to be successful, where we look at different types of marketing that we can use in order to reach our ideal clients, and the mindsets that we need to have in place in order for those two things to work. So welcome to the broadcast. If you are new here, please be sure to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're a regular, give me a wave, give me some love, and let me know that you are here with me this morning. The topic of the day is simple SEO tips. And I know that SEO, it can be really confusing. In fact, there's entire books about SEO that are a little hefty and a little wordy. But what I'm going to do today is try to break it down so that you understand what SEO is and how you can increase your search engine optimization in pretty simple ways so that your website can actually be found on Google. So the goal here is that when somebody actually searches like piano lessons near me, that you're going to show up on that first page, or at least you're going to show up in the Google My Business results. And if you aren't showing up in those places, or if you haven't even tested whether or not you're showing up in those places, then we're going to go through that stuff today as well. Good morning, Erin and Leishan and Sally. Hey, Laura, Elizabeth, and Tammy. It's nice to see you all. So before we get to the tips today, I just want to remind everybody that we love to learn out loud. So if you find something that's really valuable to you today, give us a hashtag takeaway and let us know what that is. This can be really important if you want to put something out into the universe and say, hey, I'm going to do this. Or it can be a great way to learn just because if you're typing it, you're more likely to remember that. Plus, it's great for teachers who are coming back on the replay and they see all these tips scrolling up through the comments. So speaking of teachers, if you have any teacher friends who would enjoy joining us today, now is the time to let them know about this, because whether you are live or on the replay, this is where we learn together, and I will always come back if anyone has questions. So please feel free to invite your teacher friends to join us today. Hey there, Karen's back from vacation. Me too. Went on vacation last week. I'm back. This is me, tan, or as tan as this Irish French girl can get. So let's get started, okay? Let's get started. We're looking at simple SEO tips. I do have some things set up for you all. So if you drop SEO in the comments, the Savvy Sarah bot will reach out to you and she will make sure to get you the links that I'm going to be showing you today. Because we're going to do some screen sharing and I'm going to break down a couple of steps for you. So I hope that that will be helpful. If you want to get a hold of those links, give me an SEO. So let's get started. What exactly is SEO? Well, the acronym stands for Search Engine Optimization. And here's what it actually does. So I want you to think of the internet like a library. And the different types of search engines out there, like Google or Bing, or is Yahoo still a search engine? I don't know. Whatever type of search engine somebody uses, basically what that search engine does is it goes through the internet, it crawls through the internet, and it indexes things. And the way that it does that is it looks for good SEO symptoms, for lack of a better term, on your website. And it's looking for keywords, it's looking for meta descriptions, and that is how they index your site so that if somebody's coming to that search engine, it's kind of like going to a library and using the card catalog. Not that any of our kids know what that means anymore. Have you ever had a conversation with your students about, yeah, when I went to the library, we had to look things up by cards? Watch how their eyes get really big. So SEO is basically the internet search engines acting as a library, indexing your stuff, and making sure that you have specific search terms on your site. Now, if you don't have those terms, when somebody searches for something like piano lessons near me or piano lessons in Sharon, Pennsylvania, you're not going to show up. So we're going to walk through specific steps today that will allow you to optimize your search engine optimization. So let's break that down. I see lots of SEOs coming into the comments there. Hey, Rebecca, nice to see you. And Sally. All right, so here's the first step that you need to take. And if you guys are with me and like you're enjoying this, give me some loves. All right. The first thing that we need to do is we need to research your keywords. So keywords are what people use to search for something. So this is something that we need to be aware of, in that the words that we may use to search for ourselves aren't necessarily the words that somebody would use to search for lessons. So I'll give you a good example of this. If you're a voice teacher, you might think voice lessons would be what people are searching for, but that's not necessarily the keywords that they're going to use. So I have a really cool tool that I'm going to demonstrate for you guys today. So like, for instance, like instead of voice lessons or voice teacher near me, they might be searching for something like singing classes or vocal instructor. And there's all kinds of ways to figure out what people are searching for. And I found a really cool tool that I thought that I would show you guys today. Give me a second and I will screen share it with you. Boom, get rid of that stuff and let us screen share. All right, so this is called wordtracker.com. And this is a neat way for you to figure out like what keywords people might be searching for. So we're going to use the term voice lessons, and we're going to click the search bar, and then all kinds of cool stuff is going to pop up. Ooh, I'd love to know, while we're waiting for this keyword, the keyword suggestions to come back, I would love to know, for those who are listening right now, live or on the replay, have you done SEO work on your website? Have you started to tweak things so that you've got keywords in good places, or are you just not quite sure what to do? Either way is fine. I would just love to know your answers. Okay, let's check out these search results. Okay, so we have lots of things. So I entered the phrase voice lessons, and look what comes up here. We have two tabs here. I don't even know what PPC means. I didn't bother looking it up because I was just dealing with SEO. Oh, okay, so I see some answers here. Aaron says no. Nicole says nope. Slacking. Sally has hired somebody. Sally, that's fantastic. Yes, sometimes SEO requires some extra outside help. So if we look at the results here, what we see, instead of like voice lessons being the top results, look up here. The top result was vocals coach. So we don't necessarily know the terms that people are searching, but what's interesting here is that we can, with this, look at the volume of searches. We can look at this right here is called the competition number. So the higher the number is, the more competition there is with this. So if it's like, but you don't have to necessarily worry about it, especially you small town people, because like singing lessons in West Middlesex, PA is not going to bring up a lot of results. However, if you are in a highly populated area, then you need to keep an idea of that competition number, because that's going to mean you need to lean into SEO a little bit more. The in anchor and title means the count of web pages on which the keyword appears on both the title tag and the text of the backlink. That's getting a little bit too heavy into it, but I'll try to explain some of these things. Yay, Lisa and I were talking about SEO when we were meeting one-on-one a couple of weeks ago, and she's been making progress with her SEO lately. That's awesome. Congratulations, Lisa. So we can see some other search team. Whoa, well, we're going to zoom in here, I guess. All right, so vocal coach, singing lessons near me, voice lessons near me. And you can see there's all kinds of different search terms that come up. So like we could enter another search term in here. Let's look for guitar lessons. And it'll take a second here. Maybe. We'll refresh. Okay, so guitar lessons, they're finding the keyword suggestions. There's some suggestions off to the side here, which are interesting. So like bass guitar, bass lesson, mandolin tutorial. Okay, so guitar lesson is typically what people are searching for. And then we have things like guitar lesson near me, yada, yada. So we need to know what are people actually searching for first. That's the first thing that you need to do. So in considering this, let me bring back all the things. You need to research your keywords and know what people would be looking for you. So if you are a piano lesson and a voice teacher, or if you are a piano lesson, if you are a piano and voice teacher like me, I would be looking at piano lessons and then things like singing lessons or vocals coach. So I would make a list of the keywords that people are going to be searching. Also keep in mind that sometimes people do like the piano lessons near me, or they'll do something like piano lessons in, and then they put the area that they're in. Now, if you're small town like me, and I mean small town, like the official town that's across from my studio, I think only has 500 people like in the actual town itself. But there's lots of towns outside of it. So for me, it would make more sense, instead of using the word West Middlesex, to use some of the bigger cities that are near me, like Hermitage or Sharon, because they're not too far away. It's good enough for driving distance. And so I would want to make sure that I have keywords like Hermitage and Sharon showing up on my website. So the first thing that you do is you research your keywords and you think about, what are people looking for? Make a list of those words. Now we're going to look at how we can apply them. So I want you to, as you're here today, because we're going to learn out loud together, I want you guys to put a potential list of what are the keywords that people would be searching for if they were looking for your studio, and share them with us below. And maybe we can make some tweaks to those. So research your keywords, and then the next thing that we need to understand is, what the heck do we do with them? So these keywords are going to be added in a couple different places on your website. First, we're going to look at like where we can put them inside of your website copy. And copy is just a fancy word for words, specifically words that deal with selling. But want to understand that keyword density is important. So when we're talking about density, we're looking at like, how many times does this particular word or does this phrase need to show up on your website? And I also want to say, side note, you do not have to put the terms piano lessons near me on your website. Just know that that's not a thing you have to do. Now, I did a little research on this, and different places say different things, but we're looking at a density of like 1% to 4% on the websites that you want people to be able to hit. And so that means approximately, like, depending on how long your website is, right? Like 1 out of every 500 words needs to be one of those keywords. Now, if your front page doesn't have a lot of verbiage on it, then it's going to be a little bit different. But the density is important because the website wants to see that you're actually talking about that thing, and not just like randomly putting things on there. Side note, there is something called, what's the term? Like keyword stuffing, which is not what we want to do. So when I say keyword stuffing, I'm talking about websites that you go to that have really awkward copy, and it just doesn't flow well. So if we shove too many keywords into our website copy, it starts just looking weird. But we want to have the keywords showing up in specific places. Oh, Karen says, okay, she's done piano lessons, piano teachers, piano lessons near me, piano teachers near me, piano instruction, piano studios. Oh, great, Karen. That's a great start. I want to know about Ask Mrs. Owen. I feel like I'm missing an inside joke. Okay. So with the density, remember, it's like between 1 and 4%. depending on how many words that you have on your website. I always think it's very important, like just a little thing here on your front page of your website, to make sure that you have the cities that you serve in some place, even if it's just in the footer of your website. Make sure that you have your location if you are teaching in person, or if you are teaching online, make sure that we have phrases like online lessons or Zoom lessons. Now, even though some of you are using like the magical programs like Rock Out Loud and what are the Musi and Musicology, all of these things, people aren't going to be searching for those terms. They're going to be searching for Zoom because that's what they know. So make sure that you have those things in the right places. Oh, you're tagging a web designer. Okay, wonderful. Oh, I feel so fancy. Thanks, Rebecca. All right, so keyword density. Now let's talk about where the heck do you put them? So we know that they have to be there, and we know that they have to be there multiple times, but where do we put them? So, oh my goodness, my white balance is just going all over the place today. Let's see if we can kind of fix that. Oh, that's just making it worse. Trying out my old camera here, and it's just going to be kind of funky until we figure things out. But okay, where do we want to put these on our websites? We want to make sure that they're in a couple of places. So one, it'd be lovely if you had part of those keywords in the title of your page. So like when you're creating your website, you have like at the very top, depending on what system you're using, you have the title of the page. So if it's something like, okay, for instance, Sarah's Music Studio, right? I would have Sarah's Music Studio dash piano lessons and voice lessons, or something like that. So it can show up in the title of your website. That's important first and foremost. It can also show up in the slug. Now, it's a weird term. We're not talking about the little slimy guys. We're talking about the URL. So in one of the things that I have found commonly is that people, instead of finding my homepage, they will actually find some of my other pages, like they will find the piano lessons page because that page has piano lessons in the slug in the URL. So title, URL, and there's a couple other places that you're going to want to put things. We're going to want to put some of those keywords in headers. So headers are like the larger text that you can use on a website. So you have like the regular text, like a paragraph, and then you have the header text, which is going to be larger. So headers and subheadings are going to be what Google is looking for. And so they're going to be crawling things like your title, your slug, your headings and your subheadings, and then they're going to be looking for stuff in the paragraphs. So we want to make sure that we have our keywords set in those specific areas. Are you guys with me so far? I know this is kind of tech heavy, but if you're with me, give me something below and let me know that you're still okay. All right. So we've gone through like researching the keywords. We've talked about like keyword density, and then we've talked about where we want to place those keywords. Now let's look at next leveling some things. So the next leveling. All right, Aaron says with you. All right, thank you, Aaron. I love your new logo, by the way, Aaron. He made this really cool logo. Shirley says that she's following. Okay, great. All right, the next level would be what we call meta descriptions. And this is where people get a little intimidated, but meta descriptions are actually pretty simple. And in today's freebies through the Savvy Sara bot, which if you want a hold of that, drop an SEO below, okay? Because I'm going to give you a cool blog post that talks about how you can write meta descriptions very simply. So a meta description is what is going to show up when somebody searches you, and your results are pulled up in the results. So let me give you an example of this. So we're going to screen share again. Give me a moment. Boom. Boom. Okay, so we're on Google. By the way, if you haven't checked this out, it's totally cool. It's a game. And all right, so we're going to look at piano lessons near me. Hooray, I show up. Awesome. Okay. So we see, okay, so here's what I'm talking about. The meta description is this stuff right here, right? So it's the things like looking for a piano instructor, hiring a piano teacher can be a great option. So those are some of the things that we're looking for. So when you set your meta description, that is going to be what shows up inside of those search results. So you can actually, let me come back here. Maybe. Come on. There we go. So we want to make sure that our meta descriptions actually include those keywords, and they are short and succinct, and also, tapping into your brand, because you want to be able to stand out. So whatever your meta descriptions are, it's things that we want to work on in order to make people excited to click on that link. So you need a good meta description. All right. So we've talked about a lot of things so far. Let's take a look at the next thing. So we've looked at keywords, and we've looked at how we can kind of influence the search engine optimization on our website. Now, I also want to talk about just showing up in searches. So in that last example that I just showed, you saw that if I put in piano lessons near me, I showed up under the Google results, right? And that's what we want for you. That's what I want for you. So if you don't know how to show up on that, your next level would be to set up a Google My Business account. So many of you that are here listening have just recently done this, because in the social media course that I run back in late spring, we put in a new guide that is all about how to set up a Google My Business account, and how to optimize it so that you're in the right categories, how to get verified, and how to make sure that you are feeding that account with content so that you are more likely to show up in the results. So if you have worked on setting up your Google My Business account, give us something below to let us know that you've done that. This is like a key thing. You need to have a Google My Business account. And I know that many people have kind of resisted doing it because they're nervous about putting a pin on their house if you're teaching out of your house. But there are actually ways that you can create a Google My Business account and have it set for a service area, so you don't actually give people your address, right? Hey, Leanne, nice to see you. I see you just tagged our friend Heather Nelson. That's awesome. Okay, so Karen says she has one, but she hasn't updated it yet. Okay, so Karen, I know that you're in the course, and there's some things in there about updating. So check out those lessons. Sally says that she's working on Google My Business right now. That's awesome. And Phyllis says that she's already set up her Google account. Fantastic. So you want to set up a Google My Business account so that you have the possibility of showing up twice in those search results. One, you're going to show up in the Google Maps, right? And then two, you can show up with your website if you play your cards right. So it's good stuff. Yes. Oh, Heather, we just talked about website stuff the other day, and I love it. It's a constant work in progress, my friends, right? Work in progress. Okay, so let's keep going here. One more tip for you guys. Social media plus SEO equals happy Google. Let me explain why. So we've talked about the keywords and stuff on your website. Well, did you know that search results will actually bring up social media stuff as well? So that's why it's important when we're putting stuff out on Facebook or when we're putting stuff out on Instagram that we're mindful of the keywords and hashtags that people would be searching for, so that when people do those searches, we can show up in all the places. We can show up on Google Maps. We can show up with our website. We can show up with our social medias. So we're hitting all the bases, and you're more likely to land on page one, because that is the ultimate goal, my friend, for you to show up on page one. So if you want to show up on page one, give me a page one below. Let us do a rapid recap of all of the things that we went through today. All right, so here's what we're looking at. It's fabulous to have a website, but if your website is not showing up in Google searches, then we've got a problem. That means that we have to lean into SEO, or search engine optimization. And I know SEO can be super confusing, and there's tons of books out there that are really thick and really involved. But today we're going to break it down into really simple things. So Drop an SEO below if you want to get a hold of the links that we talked about today. Let's speed through what these things are. So what exactly is SEO? SEO means search engine optimization, and I want you to think of those search engines like Google or Bing or whatever you're using as a librarian. And what they're doing is they're crawling through the internet. They are looking for specific words on websites and they're indexing them. So when people come to that search engine, they're essentially going through the card catalog and seeing what comes up when they put certain words in. So that's why we need to make sure that we research our keywords. We need to know what people are searching for. And I had a little resource that I showed you all, and I'll just look at it real fast here. This research here, this resource here is called Word Tracker, and it's wordtracker.com. It's totally free, and you can use it to find out what search terms people are actually using. It's super fancy, and I love it. So that's the first thing, right? Research your keywords and know what people are actually searching for. Don't forget that when you are like in a local area, you're going to want to make sure that you have those local area keywords in there as well, because people might be searching for piano lessons in West Middlesex. And if you don't have West Middlesex on your page, it's not going to show up. Then we have to consider keyword density. Rule of thumb is between 1% and 4% on your website. So we need to make sure that those terms are showing up in good places. And then let's talk about placement real quick. When we talk about placement, we're talking about the title of your page, the slug or the URL. We're talking about headings and subheadings. Right? So we want to make sure that we have those keywords in those places so that when the little Google, librarian comes around as indexing, they see those things. If you want to next level and show up in different ways and not just as your website, I'm ahead of myself. Next leveling, meta descriptions. I have a great resource for you. If you type SEO below, then I'm going to be sending you that. This resource will actually show you how to write a good meta description because they're really short. These meta descriptions are what show up when you show up in the search results. So you'll have the title of your page and it'll have a very brief description of what's going on, and they need to be engaging and they have to have your keywords in it. All right. Then we want to show up in multiple places. So this is why if you haven't done it already, you need to set up a Google My Business account. If you're unsure on how to do this, I do want to mention that I have all the details for this inside of the social media course. So if you are interested in joining the social media course, we just had a bunch of teachers join last week. Give me a social media below and I will reach out and give you the information on this. I lead you through step-by-step all the things: Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, and lots of other stuff. Finally, please remember that social media plus SEO equals a happy Google. So we want to be using those keywords in all of the great places: keywords, hashtags, all that good stuff. And we want to be able to do it smartly. So if you ever need any advice about that, reach out because I've got you covered. Whew, that's it for today. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, you can show me a little thanks by giving me some hearts, giving me some thumbs, and letting your teacher friends know about this. Because we do this every week. It's totally free, and the more the merrier, because we love to learn out loud. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like you. And I will be back next Wednesday with more information about all of those things. So in the meantime, stay savvy and stay you, because there's no teacher in the world quite like you. And I think that you're pretty dang awesome. Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye.